and passionate. These children of autism, they have a typical characteristics of selectivity, passion to certain things. So don't trouble them beyond their passion. You should know to build up the relationship between parents and the child to understand what is he. These traits, though they are pathological, but you can use this trait as the power of the child to convert them into the best in the world. Now today we will see how do we integrate regenerative medicine into a possibility of medicine. This word, you carry your own repairing kit in your body. I was just morning talking to you that we are all body given the healing processes. Every cell in the body is a healing process. Cell is not only responsible for healing, but the proteins, the enzymes, the hormones, all are responsible for healing you. Unfortunately, micro environment in the body changes, becomes inflammatory. And the behavior of the cell changes completely. And that is the reason if you correct this behavior, your repairing kits are in your own body, these are cells. These are cells, enzymes, hormones, proteins, all they are responsible for healing you. So let's see how we can achieve this repairing power. In fact, to say about me, my journey is from a department of surgery in neurology, from a university. What made me to change over my life is unmet needs. When I could realize there are many conditions in my clinic where I used to say to them, no, I cannot help you. I cannot help you. These are cancers, autoimmune diseases, genetic problems, chronic issues, aging diseases. I said, nothing can be done. The science which we have learned has limitation. It works on closing your signs and symptoms. It doesn't work on molecular level. The disease starts at the molecular level, and I'm treating signs and symptoms. What do you expect the disease will cure? No chance of curing the disease because you're controlling signs and symptoms. Whereas the disease at molecular level is not. So this made me the journey of a big process. Then I achieved the diploma degree in the US. I became the adjunct professor at the University, fellow at the University of Maharashtra in India, published multiple papers. Many patents, one of the patents is active now. On many editorial boards, the journey has made me a passionate person, very passionate person. The reason why I become passionate for this, today at the age where I think of retiring, and I'm passionate this subject for the reason. I'm delivering a world what the entire world could not do. They all are suffering, huge suffering children, aging neurological diseases, cancers, autoimmune diseases. This is a huge burden, huge burden. If someone comes with a passion and blesses you, yes, the disease can be cured, they can be delivered in a way, as if there was no disease with you, and you come back to it. That made my passion more and more grow. The hope, always the entire world evolves because there is a hope. If there was no hope, everybody would ended their life. You always see the dreams. You always hope that tomorrow my problem will resolve. Maybe this year not, next year something will come out. And we run families with a hope. Remember, the day this hope converts into a reality, how do you feel? You're waiting for hope. You're desiring for hope. And when this hope comes into reality, everything changes. Everything changes. You feel, oh, wonderful. I was thinking it will happen. It happened. So I'm correct. You say that to yourself, right? So hope is a big, powerful word. But hope can become a reality provided you move with the power of hope in the same direction. If you sit at hope place and start hoping, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. So everything which you have to change changes the small step and leads to a big change in the life. So this is regenerative medicine, which makes you feel why things can happen because there's a hope and desire. Now, expertise at STEMRX, cumulative experience of thousands of patients, has given the accurate, precise diagnostic possibilities, developing science through experience. Now, this experience has changed much evolution of the science. What I used to do 10 years ago, I don't do that now because science is dynamic. I say everything keeps on changing. Everything keeps on changing. So, dear friends, personalized requirement of today is requirement of life. As Dr. Ivo has mentioned, that signature is nutrition. Remember, signature is nutrition. If you sign properly, your bills are passed. If you don't sign properly, your bills are paid up. Right? So, if your foundation of nutrition properly, your genetic expressions will change. Right? Proteins are produced. There are no unfolded bad proteins are produced, and your generations will pass on this healthy gene to next generation. Expertise of this STEMRX plays a major role. Excellence. Excellence is a practice. Excellence is a practice. There's an evolution of excellence, remember. If you want to be perfect, you have to still evolve more. Evolve more. Evolve more. If there was no evolution, excellence would have not reached you. So excellence comes from not accepting the way we are. So try to evolve more to get the best one. That is STEMRX. And equity. Remember, I have a strong philosophy in my life. I travel around 70 countries to pass on this message about sending science. One beauty of this is that science doesn't have boundaries. Science doesn't have boundaries. There are no religions. There are no committees. There are no relationship of male or sex. Nothing is there. Science is universal. If it changes in one country, it has to be the same in the second country. So let's behave equality of population, country, continent, everywhere. You are deserved to get those changes benefit. And if you don't deserve, the science will disappear from the science will disappear. So have faith in yourself. You will get a wonderful belief, the treatment of the same. The beauty of India is that this country is a balance between Western, American and Asian, African countries for development. Science is equal in India as far as the US or Europe. Cost of treatment across US and Middle East or Europe is very expensive. The same treatment. Third most important point, access to the science and access to the treatment. Remember, access to the treatment in UK is very difficult. Very difficult. National scheme makes the queues of people waiting for every treatment. US, getting one appointment for a consultant, you have to wait weeks together. Taking one MRI, weeks together. Though they are developed, cost, accessibility are big challenges. So people try to travel where we have accessibility, where we have a balanced cost in between compared to European American country is India, where accessibility is very easy, cost is much cheaper. At least I would say 30% of European American cost you get the treatment in India. Accessibility is very good, and your relationship with the physician doctor can be built up very easily in India because Indian doctors, if you see in US, they are the most successful doctors in US. 40% of the doctors in US are Indian and they're excelling the best of them. So you are getting the same quality in India. This is the reason why you choose India. Many things are there. At bar treatment, accessibility, required kind support, logistic, all that has to work. And the most important, cost for everyone. Cost matters. If we have a cost benefit, equal same kind of treatment, I believe that is the best place where one can find out what else can be done. At STEMRX is a brainchild of mine. The idea of that, how do we bring this unmet needs successful? And we achieved a big goal of achieving by 22. Now it has gone more than 70,000 international and domestic patients more than now. These are ratios in 22 more than 3 years before. What are the diseases we cover up at STEMRS? The one, if you see, orthopedic conditions. This is my patent. Let me tell you, this patent speaks of bone and bone marrow. Remember again, bone and bone marrow are integral one organ. So anything pathology you get in the bone, tendon, muscle, capsule, cartilage, menisci of any part of the body can be referred to using bone. That's the beauty of it. So second is most important, what we do is neurological conditions. Neurological conditions. Now neurological conditions, when I did my studies of medicine in 1980s, I was taught cells of neuron cannot proliferate. You are born with fixed neurons and you die with reduced neurons because of death of neurons. Do you know wonderful? Let's go over 1980s. Even today in medical school I teach the same thing. Are you not shocked? Even today, when it comes to teaching in the medical school, it's the same thing. But reality is not that. Reality is not that. Reality is that there is a neurogenesis and neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means developing new connections. And neurogenesis means making new neurons. I'll give you examples to your place power. If you are in a remote place and you get a stroke, and this stroke makes you paralyzed on one side of the body. And for 6 months you do not get access to any kind of treatment because you are in a place where accessibility because of logistic systems are not there. Do you think you will remain completely paralyzed for lifetime? No. This kind of massage or some local treatments, you still get 10 to 50% recovery of finger movements, hand movements, leg movements. Who does this? This is what the neurogenesis and neuroplasticity. If this neuroplasticity which gives you 5 to 10% recovery, then imagine yourself, and I not convert that into 70%, 80%. I can convert that. If your child is passing with marks, if you give tuitions, coachings, and then it will go to 80%. Same thing apply to your child. If it's that, we can train those body microenvironments, bring up the report, reviews to improve these conditions. So, never believe that neurodevelopmental conditions cannot be improved. They can be very well improved. The remaining are autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid, that is type 1, arthritis, multiple sclerosis. All these diseases are treatable. At STEMRS, brain disorders with a small child or elderly person with aging disease, what you can call Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. Orthopedic I spoke, autoimmune disease I spoke, all of them can be treated. Metabolic disease. For you, wonder if I talk to you today. If you are diabetic, diet in the food. I will guarantee you there is no amputation. I can say you are like 100%. Plus, cure of diabetes. If you are losing your eyes with the diabetes, I can assure you your eyes will be back. No eyes. Because there is a technology which we have developed which is called as MDI, that is mitochondrial dystrophin interface, which is beautiful treatment. It's present in US and in Europe. Muscular dystrophies, delivery, fusions, caregivers, LGMD, fascial, all these can be treated very well now. We have a technology what is called as a co-culture. Co-culture is sharing the gene material in a culture from a normal cell to the eye disorders, you can say glaucoma, ocular injuries, retinitis pigmentosa can be treated, stabilized, and also reversed to 20-30%. Other disorders, many of them are there. Let's not developing brain. Can you see the smile on the face? Innocent, very innocent. The baby doesn't know. The baby doesn't know who is his or her father. He doesn't know what is he going to be. doesn't know what he wants, what isn't. He knows only to smile every month. Right? He has to smile every month. So this is a story of a brain. And it goes brain. Very innocent. Similarly, your stem cell is also innocent. He doesn't know that stem cell, I'll become brain cell, I'll become a kidney cell, I'll become a liver cell. He doesn't know. So always compare the innocent brain of child developing like a stem cell. How you nurture, how you the environment depends on that matter. Child starts building the development. So remember, developing child is a child where the microenvironment plays a major role to develop the children. Once upon a time, when we were students, we did not have these kind of scans. We did not have pets. We did not have high end of EEGs. We could not define which part of the brain is faulty when the patient comes to us. So we used to call difficult brain, very challenging brain, is a complex structure. Brain is a very complex structure. As of date, if you ask me, the most easiest organ in the body is neither the liver, nor the muscle, nor the bone, brain. Only brain. Because brain has got only one functional cell, that is a neuron. Liver has got 10 type of cells. Kidney has got 10 type of cells. If you have one cell giving a whole function is easier, or you have multiple cells giving a function is easier. One cell is easier. So we can handle brain, and now with different kind of technology, we have defined each lobe of the brain and with its all different kind of functions. And when we do mapping of the brain, and we know A part of the function is a A function, B part of the brain has got a C function, occipital area has an I function, the lateral area of the brain, parietal region is a speech area. We know all that now. We define that. It becomes the mapping is the first step of our treatment to the problem, which defines which area of the brain is not firing properly. If you know that, your firing changes and you can find out the much better deals with the children. Now spectrum, this spectrum is a word which shows a variety of presentations. Variety of presentations. Means the spectrum is a way autistic child calling is not easy. It's not easy. We have to define symptoms, signs. But if you see, each child is a different child in sense and symptoms. Each child is different. Somebody has a problem of concentration, somebody has a more problem of eye contact, somebody has a hyperactivity mode, somebody has a personal hygiene problem, somebody has understanding problem, somebody has, like, it's a big spectrum of disease. So we call ASD, autistic spectrum disorder. So spectrum means every child is different in the disease. Why? Because the affected parts of the brain are different. And once you have the mapping of the brain and then find out the symptoms of communication, social, behavior, causes to be neurological, maybe genetic, maybe environment, maybe on microenvironment because of uterus. There are many causes. In addition to this, I give more preference to the mother cell in autism. Give more preference to the mother cells. When you are carrying a baby, you are always, remember, interacting with your baby. You are sharing what you eat, what you sleep, what you do, your anger. Whatever you are doing, you are sharing everything to the baby. Do you know this? So who is responsible? Mothers are responsible to take care of their health. Very important. Very important. Don't forget, it is one of your organ like liver, kidney, brain. If you don't behave properly with food habits, you are going to damage your liver. You are going to damage your kidney. You are going to damage your brain. That is the reason mothers. And if you see the ratio, children born with a cesarean section with a higher ratio of autism compared to those vaginal delivery. Why? Can you ask me? If you don't ask me, I'll put on it. You should remember, the tender skin of the baby doesn't have layers of more thick skin. And there are only capillaries left. And vagina has got immune cells. When it baby brushes against the vaginal wall, baby is sharing with mother antibodies. Baby is sharing all health of the mother. That is the reason I said you, health of viral infection of TOT should not be there to the mother when they deliver the baby. Nature has in every protection. Every protection. We don't respect. That's the problem. We don't respect. If you have a normal vaginal delivery, chances of other diseases like autism are very, very less. Probably will not find in textbook this, and nobody will teach you this. Facts about autism, let's not waste time on this. Ratio, which is 2 to 6 per thousand, which was earlier. If you ask me today, in 25, this ratio of 2 to 6 per thousand has gone about 10. About 10. It's a huge ratio if you ask. 10 is 2,000. Do you know what is the volume income of the population rate? Unimaginable is increasing day by day. There are no racial boundaries to this, no religion boundaries to this. As I say, there are antenatal causes, as antenatal means health of the mother before that. Second, perinatal brain injury, occurs cold, hypoxia. These are the prenatal and post icterus, vomitings, loose motions, viral fevers, convulsions are so important. So remember, I have given a list of things. Please be aware when you get pregnant how to protect you and protect your people, for which you are doing all life efforts. Standard interventions, what we look into, like various therapies like AB therapy, social stories, and functional, academic, or skill development, vocational preparations, all have what limitation. In US, people spend, Australia, people spend millions of dollars for these therapies with not even 2% successful rate. Not even 2% successful rate. Why, you ask me? Reason is that disease of metabolic disorders in the brain, and trying to teach them something, how the brain will learn. When brain is not ready to accept it, we are forcing to accept, because the pathology of the inflammation of the brain is there already seen. I'm not bothered to look at. And we are talking of therapies. I don't believe this concept. In cerebral palsy, depending on the hypoxic injury, this lack of blood supply, we get the presentation. Like we may have total brain affected, we may have limbs affected, we may have, depending on like stiff muscles, uncontrolled movements, poor balancing, and a complete brain affection. Depending on that, we call them global disease or partial disease. Various diseases are noted, and let me explain you. Don't segregate these diseases from each other. They are all elder or younger brothers to each other. I don't find reason to separate diseases from each other. Global development delay is a part of autism itself. All children are global delay. There also. Cerebral palsy, there are also little delayed movements. Delayed development. ADHD is one of the part of symptoms of autism. So that is the reason I call them brother and sisters of each other. I share with you, I can share you the beautiful event in my life, which has given my passion more to grow. This baby is 11 months old. If you can see, in a convulsion status, pre-treatment, this baby was denied treatment from every hospital in the city because of she was too small weight. She was continuously convulsing. There were a lot of defects in the development. And hospitals said, no, it's a high risk, nobody should have. Doctors said, when this lady came to me, her mother is sitting, I know, I have to face the doctor. This lady came to me. I saw the baby. And I made a clear picture. Don't expect miracles. But if a chance properly handled this baby can grow normal. And today, this baby is growing normal, going to normal school. It was a big risk for a small weight having such a big treatment. But if you know the cause, if you know the processes, what is wrong and what to do, you can get this wonderful. So for this reason, I forgot to show you one of the pictures I had picked here is I was appreciated by India Book of Records for having saving the family, the baby, and giving the life to the baby. Thank you. Down syndrome is a trisomy. Again, could be repairable completely. Intellectual disabilities, completely repairable. Now, when we bring the child of autism or any kind of delayed development to the state which we call ADL, it is activities for daily life. The child should not depend on the parents for anything, for basic needs like clothing, food, toileting, or wearing the clothes, or maybe behavioral problem that when he is coming out home, she should or he should sit quietly, ask him basic needs completely. That is I call ADL. So my first target of the treatment is how do I bring the children to ADL? Actually, the moment we come to this stage, parents, much of a stress is gone. At least they know they can go out now. Socialize them. Such children, the next step is always remain their intellectual improvement. If I can bring to ADL, then I also can bring the child in the intellectual classroom, targeting those intellectual functions of the brain. Alzheimer in elderly patient, it's also day by day increasing disease. We have a beautiful protocol which is based on MDI, stem cells, EBOO, and not only that, a specific design program which removes the bad proteins from the mind body, which are using chevrons, heat shock proteins. Spinal cord injury. Once upon a time, we were lifetime paralyzed. Today, there are so many artificial technologies along with the stem cells and probably extracellular matrix methods, which we do at STEMRx. At least we can get 30-40% of the power back, which makes the person independent. That's very important for us. As I told you, orthopedic conditions, bone and bone marrow, I told you. All these stories can be closed. Shoulder, elbow, no surgery, no anesthesia, no cut, no incision, no stitches, zero risk, and very good results. Who doesn't want to have correction of defects in the body without surgery? I believe everybody wants. Or everybody likes surgery. Is surgery a big risk? You know that? I am myself a surgeon who is telling you this. It's a contrast. Okay, this is my patented subject, where the head is necrosed because of blood. I assure the patient, same joint lifetime. Remember the words. Same joint lifetime. No replacement of joint. These are X-rays which before and after. And conventional therapies are failed in neurological conditions. Very much I can proudly say that, but at the same time proudly I can say that technologies are evolving to treat the same condition. Michael Weir is known to me for years. It was a change of century. He wrote a beautiful sentence. Can you imagine? Scientific achievements not be from the field-based technology, computer science of anyone, but genetics and tissue. Steps. This is the word which he spoke 25 years before. 25 years before, when the science was just beginning. Because he knew what can change human life. Not the planets, not the computer, not the space. Only stem cell science and genetics can change the quality of life. So believe me, if you are very happy, we require technologies, but provided you are fit. Suppose you are not fit, which What are you going to do? So many of you may have a question, what is a stem cell? I'll just brief you in short. These are the building blocks of your body. If there are no stem cells, even today in your body, take it a word boldly written, you die. You die. If you don't have stem cells in the body, you die. Take it rightly from there. Now, how the stem cell comes in? What do you mean by meaning stem? Stem is a base, right? Stem is a base. What is a base? Base is the foundation of everything, for everything. Now I will tell you how this stem cells has evolved in a scientific way and how you should understand. This is a simple single cell egg which has come from a sperm from the father and ovum from the mother, right? Now this is a new life. Started with a single cell which you cannot see with your eyes also. And in 9 months you become 6 feet tall. How the wonderful nature is there. 9 months before you were not able to see you are single cell, and 9 months later you are physically grown up huge 6 feet 60 kg person. And all that comes from this single cell. This single cell has a potential of making 220 cells of your body, which are cells, and 150 trillion cells, 150 trillion cells make your body. And all that comes from this. Now this cell gets a 30-40% genes from the father, 30-40% genes from the mother, and 20-30 genes of his own development. Now he is carrying 3 different sources of genes. 3 different sources. Some characters of mother, some characters of father, and some of his own characters. It is not that 100% is mother or 100% father, 50% mother or 50% father. It's not like that. A child has got its own character also. Otherwise, it will be always mother and father. There is no evolution. Because of 3 types of genetic differentiation, this master cell having so much potential, having your genetic code, who you are, what are you, how long you are going to live, what the disease you are going to suffer, what will be your color, how your eye will be there, how your hairs will be there, what disease you are likely to suffer. Now this is information encoded in this cell. That's it. Now remember, the embryo, single cell, which knows who are you everything, what do you call? You call the master cell. You call a stem cell. Now when you prepare a program computer, you prepare a master file. All the information, what kind of language you have used. Right? That is a master file for your program. It is a master file for your life. You understand the beauty of it now? Yes or no? Yes. So this is a stem cell, and that is why the importance of stem cell comes in. That's the importance of stem cell comes in. Now remember, this single cell in 3 days to 4 days becomes an embryo, which is called as molecule. 18 cells. Now this 16 to 18 cells, if I take out, engraft in 16 different women's uterus. Beautiful science, you know. I can copy down you 16 different percent, the same character. Same character. This is cloning effect. This is cloning. You can do that, but it's bad. If somebody does, he will be behind the bar. Remember. Now, this science evolves from a single cell to the birth of around 2.5 kg baby, and within 16 years, he becomes 60 kg. Who is doing all these things? Stem cells. Stem cell. If suppose I give you an example, if your baby is born and at the age of 1 year, he or she is detected with blood cancer, you will run pillar to post for bone marrow transplant test. Yes or no? Why? Because you know bone marrow cancer can kill my baby. Right? The moment you do bone marrow transplant, the baby survives for the full life. Understood now beauty of stem cell now? The moment you change the bone marrow, baby grows like a new life. So stem cell is your life. stem cell is here. So we have to use the power of these stem cells to use our possibility of repairing the jobs. They have unique characters, they can regenerate, they can specialize, they can differentiate. This is a small cell having 2 layers of embryo. This is called as a blastula. The inner cell develops our body complete, and this outer layer, trophoblast, develops the placenta cord tissue. Now we have both of them to be used for repairing job. In the adults, we have different sources like brain neural cells, dental pulp, bone marrow, both hematopoietic which can make the blood and which can make the organs. Muscle, adipose, testicles, all are adult sources of stem cell. As stematics, we use maximum dental pulp, bone marrow, and donor cell from placenta. Because they are the best one to repair your bodies. Autologous cells means your own cells. When you use your own cells, we call them autologous. The beauty is that they will regenerate, replace, and regenerate. Why we should use it? They are 100% safe. 100% safe. I repeat my sentence. No side effects, efficacious, and the beauty, what all you want, we don't want surgery. So, no surgery of these particular conditions when we use this. They are 100% safe, no rejection, easily obtained, no ethical issues, no tumor state. This is just the source of bone marrow, where we have stem cells of yellow marrow and red marrow. Red marrow makes your blood, yellow marrow makes your bones, fat, and all those things. This is just a biopsy of the same bone marrow I have taken. For you to understand, these are the blood-making cells, these are organ-making cells. When I show picture around, it becomes easy to understand you. If I keep on talking, you will go with a blanket saying what he spoke really, I don't know. These are again stem cells, this area. In the brain, we have now known the functions of the frontal area. Frontal area plays a major role in understanding proceeding of everything in the brain. Everything in the brain. And most of the pathologies are around this area in autism also. They are very important to be corrected. Then this is an area which is called as a backside of the area, optical area, parietal area. These are the functions of this area. And once you map these functions, it becomes easy for the treatment. I don't know how many of you will understand, but I will show you these 3 lines: blue, red, and yellow. 2 lines, green and white. 3 lines are going up, 2 lines are coming down. Right? Now remember, coming down lines are cell population and progenitor cells or immature cells. As you come to the birth, the making neural cells is over completely. Almost 95% making is over. But this lateral synaptic line, dendritic line, and myelination, cover of the myelination, they are from the mid-term of your baby, they are increasing. And after the baby, they are still forming. These are called milestones of your baby. These are called milestones of the baby. When your baby is born, you watch their movements, speech, neck holding, crawling. Am I right? So this happens as we develop the new synaptic connections, neuroplasticity. Dendritic development and myelin, neurogenesis. These are the supporting requirements of myelination, which are developing to complete the milestone with higher functions. Understanding, balancing, fine act, standing, taking various exercises mode. All these come from these 3 things. And when your baby is growing in the womb of mother, every time when you go for a follow-up, you ask doctor, whether my child is the right milestone, whether it will be correctly, yes. And if the doctor says no milestones are related, delayed development. Right? Behavior is not correct, autism. So remember this. way is called follow the nature's law of improvement. If we can do that, we can come out of the problem. Remember, we all send our school children around 8 years, 5 years, 6 years. By the time your brain synaptic connection is over, so learning process. Remember, this is at the time of birth, your synaptic connections in the brain are very poor. As the child grows, synaptic connections increase. If you see, if you are traveling various countries while with a job, if you are at 2 years with a child, you are in Germany, your child will pick up German very fast, he doesn't get to travel. Next year, you are traveling to German, French. You don't get to teach French, you will pick up fast because this synaptic connections. The more the denser your learning process is, very easy. But when the 12-year child change from one language to another, it's very difficult for him to learn. Very difficult for him. You have to put the classes, you have to put the trainings, all those. So remember, this is called a forming effect of the brain. If the neurons fire, you can learn. If they don't fire, these connections disappear. This is exactly what happens in autism. Remember, this is exactly what happens in autism. Your children have lost this synaptic connection. They have become like a 1-year child or whatever. That's why baby doesn't understand communication because poor, because the connections are lost. So my job is how do I re-establish this connection? And that is what we do in the autistic children. If you see, this is a normal neuron. Electrical symphony of neuron which passes without interruption, and when the cell is damaged, dendrites are damaged, the cell information electricity is very poor, and that is what happens in autism. The normal brain, the pathological brain. These are some different conditions I just named for you. Today, most of I am supposed to talk about developmental problems. But for your knowledge, I just take 10 minutes for you to do the display. Bone conditions, as I said, arthritis, force injury, frozen shoulder, lumbar spondylitis, cervical. No surgery, no painkillers, no stitches. All can be resumed back to normal, as if they were not damaged. Muscular or nerve conditions. These are also can be treated with the stem cells, no surgery, no toxic drugs, no painkillers. Back to normal. Conventional therapies fail, as I told you. So some of the autoimmune diseases, we'll just name them. Like deficiency, rheumatoid arthritis, systemic lupus, rheumatosis, multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, inflammatory bowel disease, psoriasis. Psoriasis guaranteed result, absolutely no question. Guaranteed. Rheumatoid guaranteed result. Lupus 100%. Scleroderma, vasculitis, dermatomyositis, Addison disease is a little challenging to improve, but most of them. Dermatomyositis, Graves is a thyroid disease autoimmune, can be completely resolved. These are the beauties of this stem cell therapy. There's no surgery. It's a cardiovascular, diabetes. These conditions are like infections, the reproductive system, osteoporosis. All can be treated very well without surgery. Eye conditions like retinitis pigmentosa, macular degeneration, then conditions like glaucoma, lesion in the retina, traumatic optic nerve, can be repaired. Genetic conditions, remember, Down syndrome, Dover syndrome, SWS syndrome, Smiling syndrome. Fortunately, I am lucky to treat these patients and get him with a normal life. The question remains how? What are the genetic problems are taken place defects where and time of birth? But that doesn't mean the brain cannot be repaired. That doesn't mean sickle cell anemia, your country is full of sickle cell anemia. Last year when I was in Nigeria, 6-7 years before, by Sickle Cell Society here to deliver a talk on sickle cell. I can give a reference. You can put the name of my sickle cell disease, Dr. Mahajan here. You will get the president's note of mine here. I have written a paper in Nigeria saying that the blood of the sickle cell disease is allegedly pathogenic to only red blood cells, not to white blood cells, not to mesenchymal cells. They are normal. So I have written saying, can we use these cells to repair the complications of sickle cell disease, like joints, muscles, damage in the brain? They all can be repaired by using the whole blood. And this is guidance, the best was fertility. Normally the ratio of success is 40 to 50% in any other center in the world. Here at Slimanics, we give 90% success rate with a quality assured result because we use stem cells in the ovary as well as in the endometrium. PCOD, wonderful result, or PCOS, wonderful results. When we hearing loss, tinnitus, big challenge. Both can be treated very well. Facial skin problems like eczema, acne, dermatomyositis, lymphadenopathy, all this is a lifetime gift. You use this dermatologist, that dermatologist, he uses steroid creams, steroid tablets, or some immunosuppressants. But ultimately, this is a gift, and you have complications of you lose the quality of the skin, social stigma, and also you lose the self-integrity. You feel, I don't want to go out here because my face is not looking good. Self-esteem is lost. Trust. All these conditions, I give 95% results as if the skin was normal. As if the skin was normal. Skin conditions I spoke to you, health conditions I spoke to you. Some pain management, migraine. You roam pillar to post. Some migraine tablet you will take, painkillers you will take, doctor will advise the pain you diet, sleep, everything. But migraine remains a gift. Schematics, you come into the theater, my operation theater, and come out in 10 minutes with a smiling face. Migraine is gone. Migraine is gone. Can you imagine? The beauty, once you know the science, you can change the outcomes of it. Now, tennis elbow, cervical spondylitis, spore, fasciitis, podiatry issues, rheumatology, carpenter syndrome, no surgery, permanent result. Permanent result. And pain will go away without painkillers. There are so many other conditions like lung fibrosis, liver cirrhosis, adrenal syndrome, amniotic gland, monilic moves, migraine, cancer, neurologic disorder. These are all treated as schematics. This is one sentence you keep in mind of Albert Einstein. When we can't solve the problem by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created it. If you are unable to do it on the same basic principle, further progress, please change the platform from pharmacology to biology and you get all the solutions for this. Ultimate goal is regeneration, repair. Human cells. My scientist protocol uses stem cells to repair damage. This protocol shows you the activating stem cells already in the brain endogenous, which I told you in the beginning itself, and using transplanting the cells exogenous from the vein, from the spine, and from the nose. Know that it is a plate, a small plate, from where you can push the stem cells to the brain. So, scientific protocol is my trademark protocol. If we use this kind of cells, various growth factor, nutraceuticals, combined with customized regeneration and neurodivergent. Yuma has already spoken about the nutrition. So Schematics has got a lot of nutrition benefits like FMT I told you, equal microbiota transfer, very important as Schematics. All the nutritional problems play a role with nutrition. Therapy, the schematics, LBOT, ozone therapy. Now we added EBU, lasers, hydro, vibration, toxic chamber, very intense pulse pressure, FMT, FES, EMF. And because the list is very big one, so I have tried to put a simple list again for you. You can read out these structures in robotic flows, ultrasound lipolysis, team thera, brain stimulations, hydrogen therapy, PCR, transcordial stimulation, which are very high tech, very high tech. So in fact, the journey is beautiful. To see when you come back from me, you will come not with the same child, with signs showing something. That's the beauty of journey. These are the criticals of schematics. Which play a role with biological role to put your health in a proper norm, that is the proper norm. So various of them are there. Assured result, the various protection claims are there, which we comply with the steps. Conclusion. Remember, science is very amazing. Very amazing. I know the word amazing. What I written? The promise of preventive medicine makes personalized tissue repair kits of specific disease, curing, incurables. A big hope where I started this journey. Where I started this journey. A big hope. What's the next? And Lee is there the next to talk to you. It will take the journey ahead for you. How we can access these signs further ahead. And thank you for your patient hearing. If you have any questions, there is Temari's building standing alone with a smart technology to read the smart technology center. Everything organized for your consultation, post-consultation, visa travel, payment option, pick up from there, local transport, at the hospital, departure journey, the team will take a good memories for you. Walking at the home and have a wonderful relationship, not for the future, but for life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. If there's anyone that would like to speak to Doctor one-on-one, the discussion with him, you can now, and then we'll make a special arrangement for you. Yes, and Dr. Brown, is there any questions? Any questions you would like to ask? Yes. Doctor, yes.
Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, my question may not be the sort of question that you're expecting, but so with stem cell is something that I have kind of looked into in the past, and I have also spoken to, maybe not directly, but I have had a few people who say, I've had a few people, I haven't spoken to them directly, but I have had some people who say that they have tried stem cell for their kids with autism, and it didn't work. So what makes yours different? How do you convince us that?
That's a beautiful question. Beautiful question. Mama, remember one thing in my all talk, if you have heard very cautiously, I never stressed on stem cell as a treatment choice. Did I speak that? That is the difference. Understood now? The difference is that one technology alone cannot do anything. People who around the world take the stem cells and come back to me. Why? Because there is integration required. Integration required. I have to support. One sentence I wrote there: fire or disappear. If you don't fire the cells, the action will disappear. The cells cannot make it. They can give a microenvironment. They can support the system to grow. But firing is required. That comes from microcurrent stimulations. Plus mitochondrial dysfunction correction. If you don't correct mitochondrial dysfunction, I'm pushing stem cells. That is the difference. If you don't correct the micro of the gut and you're pushing senses, nothing will happen. If you're not supporting with nerve growth factor, BDNF, GDNF, nothing will happen. So it's an integration program whereby changing the microenvironment, that is why I commit within 2 to 3 weeks, you have to see some changes in the child. Whereas, as you say, you go around the world, they say it will do, 6 months you wait, it will happen. Nothing will happen. Got it, no answer? What is the difference? Or you want me to more elaborate?
No, I understand. So, if I get you correctly, so there is a stem cell part, and there is the FMC, and what else?
And then, remember, before giving stem cells, we need to change the micro of the brain because it's a huge neuroinflammation.
So
We have to change
FMC.
neuroinflammation. Then we have to change the blood-brain axis. We have to change the microflora of the intestine. You have to keep the neurons firing. Then the stem cells. Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
I made it a very simple language,
Yeah.
not complicated.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Murthy, I know what you're saying. I understand. Doctor, I'm talking as a parent, right? And I understand what she is asking. So I know there's other hospitals that also give stem cells are not with the same protocol. And maybe because they were at the other hospitals, that can happen. Because you need to, they always say you need to compare apples with apples. And it sometimes happens that these parents doesn't see changes. Like, remember I told you the one parent said, okay, I want to go to Panama, and you said, okay, let him go, then they definitely coming back to see my head. So,
I've been always telling the parents,
so I
take the experience of every center in the world and then come to me. I'll give you a smile on your face.
So yes, I understand. I understand many times they ask me, or parents also ask me about why is it like this, and it's because they go to other centers which have not got the same protocol, and that protocol is inferior, and not inferior, and I will give you 10 reasons why the most is inferior. Because the protocol are not the same, not going to get the same results. And sometimes when parents are back home, okay, this is something I want to tell you quickly, but sometimes parents go back home and they don't send their child to therapies. They leave their child at home, alright, and I think just by chance the child is going to now all of a sudden start improving. It's not going to happen like this. Because the stem cell needs activation like each journal will tell you, you have to send your child because it's a new cell, it needs to learn. You can compare it to a blank page. If you have a blank page over the right, it's the same as a blank cell. So I think there is freedom studies just kind of
Very good.
so you cannot leave your child alone. Your child has now be stimulated and that is why it will happen. Instinct is just medical on the nature and help with things because she's more professional than I'm a parent. So I think it's just medical that all of a sudden is going to happen, but you have to work on it. It's not just going to happen by itself. And that is why it's done. And then sometimes it's not always. And the first stem cell, some parents go, oh, my child is behaving, it's more hyper, it's more this, it's more that. And then I go for a second stem cell, and then the child improves. So I have a child, Jermaine, that says because the mom was did X-ray. So I was in South Africa, and I had 5 children at medical stem cell. So Jermaine was in my school. And Jermaine went for the first stem cell, and we saw little improvement. We're not very impressed, alright? But when Jermaine went for the second stem cell, then Jermaine really improved. Then one day we were sitting in the kitchen, Jermaine wanted to put the candle on, and we said, no, Jermaine. And then Jermaine became more responsive. So we always had an easy, unresponsive child. And all of a sudden we had a responsive child which wanted to put the kettle on, which want to do things, and they have to look it up. So you have to decide, you have to then have a change on, like, all of a sudden we have this responsive child, where you also make it, you always maybe have an easy child, where you just put him in front of the TV and he would just sit. but now your child wakes up, and now he starts in response to that also happened. So many of these, and then there was other children that all you want is a parent approach. And really, all I want my child is to speak.
When she's done.
Alright, all I want to do is my child to speak. Then the child starts with little words. Alright. But the child might never speak like me and you, like instantaneous, they don't have to work like that. But cognitively they improve, their understanding improves, and because of their understanding improves, they become better and better. So it is a process. It is a very a process. Then there was another this mom. Sorry, I'm coming. So there's this mother, Sharon. Alright, she's from Zimbabwe. A child going to Primarex when he was 3 years old, I think. Today, that child learned so that he's autistic because she took him to the doctor for evaluation, not telling another doctor that he had stem cells. Some doctors don't want to take care of the children once they know that the children have stem cells. Anyway, so she took the child to the doctor, and then the doctor said, no, this child has not got autism. The child was misdiagnosed. But Sharon now, Sean is now on his third stem cell. They have the funds to bring him, so he's now on his third stem cell. So now Sean, from an unresponsive child just walking around, couldn't do anything, Sean can now swim, Sean can now is more interactive, Sean can now understand drawing and things like that. I will put his video on, but that child has really come a long way in the last 3 years. So you hear the success stories, and then you hear, like what you hear when parents say, no, we don't see anything, it doesn't work, it was a waste.
So how often can it be?
Doctor, how often can you do stem cells? I want doctor to also answer.
Remember one thing, the system at STEMITES is not often.
Sorry?
STEMITES, the system is not often.
How often?
It is as on required. When the progress of child is improving, you don't have to interfere in the natural. The time when the child improvement progress ceases or regresses little, that is the time when it may be 2 months, it may be 6 months, it may be 3 months, it may be 8 months. Till then, my team on e-learning will be supporting you. And the day you find, doc, his improvement is little last 2 months normal time, then I have some parents who have gone in one treatment complete. I have parents who have required 3 to 4 treatments. Depends on response we take the call. Otherwise, it's not that you have to go to 3 sessions, 4 sessions, nothing. If somebody says it is wrong.
So with each session, do you start with the fecal mass transplant?
Yes.
Yes.
We go through the whole protocol.
Complete. And beauty is that once you have given stem cell with me, bone marrow, it is preserved for the next 2 months, so third month.
What's the company?
Preserved.
So a doctor has
The private
storage, yeah. So you don't have to take the child again through a needle.
Process.
It's very preserved, and then they use that to. So can I explain how it's done? Okay. So so I want to explain how the stem cells is done. Because I had like 4 or 5 students. So what they do is you have a hip bone, right? Then they put a needle in the hip bone while the child is sleeping, not complete, it's only sedation, you know when we, okay? So then they put a needle in the hip bone, they extract the bone marrow, alright? Then they send it to the lab splits it, and then you get your stem cells that's separated, alright? Then they put your child to sleep again, and then they inject it with a lumbar punch in the back while the child is sleeping. But with Dr. Pradeep, with your protocol, for Dr. Green, you get stem cells 3 ways. So he prepares the brain to make the uptake of the stem cells from your bone marrow much better. So you breathe in, and then they have stem cells by breathing, also by intravenous, and then he does it the third way.
I'll explain.
Okay, doctors don't.
I'll take you to people. Remember, intravenous cells go donor cells. They are very powerful immunomodulating. And that helps with the inflammation. Autologous cells of bone marrow or of fat, they go intravenous. And exosomes and growth factors and insulin go to the nose to the brain of the weight.
Yes.
Okay?
Doctor, why can't you just do by intravenous? Because many people say they only go intravenous, but
It
then
doesn't
they
work like that. The science doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. If you say it doesn't sit in the frame of science to improve, it is discounted. You cannot say why it is not discounted. Because purpose of giving every cell one should know. Why I'm giving intravenous, you should know. Why I'm giving intrathecal, you should know. Why I'm giving nasal, one should know. Nasal we give because it bypasses blood-brain barrier directly to the brain. Understood now? All the exosomes look right directly to the brain. IV, it gives the brain injury. Intrathecal helps to reach the brain because it also goes to the brain barrier. Okay? Now, this is the beauty of other places and thank you for it. Thank you.
okay.
So each site takes 2 weeks for the process. The process takes 2 to 3 weeks for each round.
No, process it doesn't take 3 rounds, 3 weeks. Process takes 2-3 days only. But therapies which are supposed to make neurons firing, change microenvironment, are very understood that?
Yes. So that is that makes
So my always target is that before you give a drug access, you should say thank you doctor, my child is showing something. Happy?
Okay, so I have more to tell you. Okay, doctor says something that I stimulate doctor to listen. Okay, because I'm a parent and I went through it, I know what parents want to know. Okay, so for a child with CP, it's 3 weeks. So for a child with CP that's very severe like this child, we usually, and that needs a lot of intervention and a lot of pressure, they usually do it 3 weeks. But for a child with autism, they do it 2 weeks. Alright, and in that 2 weeks you get hypotonic oxygen, you get quantum therapy, you get many things that they do, like teacher, I must say, it's actually, we need to focus more on what they do, but because it's such a short time that we have, alright, so we can't tell everything. We do, that's no. Is there any parent that was Did you have mom?
Yes.
You have semi.
Yes.
Can you please talk about quickly your
Experience.
Your experience.
Experience and how you got that from.
Okay, so also, you guys have to understand, the earlier the child goes for stem cells, the better. Say 9 months to 8 years, that was a very good outcome. Once your child reaches puberty, there's hormones that's now like, yeah. So that outcome needs more stem cells. Then when you have an adult from 17 years up, right, I just boy from France, alright? He was there from France, he's 17 years old, alright? He couldn't sleep at night, the mom didn't sleep at night. So now the mom says, my child sleeps at night and I have now rest. All she wanted was small mountains like sleep. Okay, now he's sleeping, she's sleeping. For her, that's enough. All she wanted was rest, and he's understanding more and better, and she has that outcome, that's enough. But when the children are younger, your outcome is better because of neuroplasticity, right? And that is why it is so big, because when your brain is now very set from the older age of 15, it's Autumn and Lord, Sharon's job. I'm going to give you the video playing the
Okay, I'm going to speak as a parent, doctor, and forgive me. I have to tell my parents. So, my child is 14, and she's a girl. Now, I have done, I've worked with children with developmental challenges for over 10 years now. There's something that I wanted to do that as my research for PhD, and I did something else.
This one to be held and someone to be carried.
Male children have better outcomes than
Yeah,
You know your way? From the back, your right hand.
Yes, to the reception.
Wait,
The
no,
back.
don't wait, 2 minutes.
Then your right hand.
Righteous condition, because disease, where resistance again. That is the but they doing it. But they still longer time.
So we parents, as a parent, this was a background telling you that you don't have to use my daughter's outcome to determine yours. Because as a nutritionist, I wish my husband was here. He usually fights me. And then, if you are so good, why is my daughter still on the spectrum? And I know that I have clients that their children are doing better than my daughter. Why? So the point here is all the children are not the same. Every child is unique, and their outcome is unique. So before we went to Stemarates, we are equals. Every night, my daughter will be like, open the door. Kachifo, okay, come on. She will go to bed. 5 minutes. Kachifo, come on. And then 15 minutes. Kachifo. And if you don't answer, if you like the dead, she will come to you and continue saying it until you answer. This is what we go through. Until 3 a.m., 4 a.m., she's up there telling you Kachifo. And she does it to us, she does it to her younger brother who's just 7. You'll be like, this boy is not getting enough sleep.
Thank you.
But since we got home, 2 o'clock, this girl is on bed. She would just be sleep if there's no school at 3. She would just be in bed sleeping. So that sleep is huge. Other than even if it's just sleep that we went to buy a big care, that is huge. That is something. And then she started bringing out some vocabularies. One day she just told me, Mama, I want to go to Suka. And I'm like, I never knew she knows that we are from Suka. How did you know we are from Suka? And then during prayer, she'll be like, I pray that because my brother's name will go to school. And I'm like, okay, we pray that. Okay. Usually she'll be like, God, please get it to me. But this time she'll be like, I pray that. Okay. So, these things are just dropping. They are dropping. To tell you the truth, it's not like we haven't seen that yet. Although we are still moving, because it takes like 3 months, 4, 5, 6 to like fully take effect. But like I said, don't take my results, because my client, whom I've been working with for over 4 years, she went from Ghana. She went with a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old. As at the time I spoke with this woman, she said the 17-year-old is as good as out of the spectrum. She said she could send me out to go and buy stuff, come home, and nobody will tell that this boy had any challenge. That's why I say don't take my own as an example. Don't use it as your benchmark. My daughter is going to get better because we are going to do more. We will continue trying until she gets better. But what People scam people, and the money gets lost. In fact, people steal your money and gives you nothing. So what are you going to lose? It's your money. Please do what you have to do. Whatever the outcome is, one thing I will assure you is that there will not be regression. There can only be improvement. The only thing we are going to be saying, what percentage of improvement? And I will sell this my finger to give my daughter a better life. So what is it and you are losing? The biggest regret, as I will tell anybody today, is that I didn't do earlier. If you can, don't wait 1 more minute. I am begging you, please. Do it as early as you can. That's all I can ask you to do. But the truth, even if you don't get all you expect to get, I am sure you will get something. I've told you what I got and I'm still getting. 2 days ago, she made the sauce that we used to eat our gluten-free pasta. She made it, although with me, but she made it. I was sitting there in the chair and telling her what to put. She cut her onions, she put the vegetables, she beat the egg. I was just sitting down in the chair and she made the sauce and we ate. And she was so happy with herself. Let me tell you the side effect. The side effect is that she has become more, assertive. She wants it and she wants it. She's become more conscious of what she wants and go for it. So, and that is a positive. A child is more conscious of what they want. So it's being assertive. She's just being assertive, wanting what she wants. And one thing you have to also remember, she's a teenager, she's 14. And at 14, all of us want to be who we are. It doesn't matter if they have challenge or not. Right now, she refuses to make her hair. She wants to cut it in the middle and part it like a Igbo, and she forgets that her hair is not like Igbo hair. So she will just part her hair in the middle and comb it sideways and wants to carry it everywhere. I said, as long as you are not cutting yourself, I said, I am not bothering you. You cut your hair anyhow you want to cut it. And that's how she carries her hair now. I wish I could show you her picture. She's just growing, she's becoming better version of herself. Please, you have the opportunity I never had. Do this as fast and as early as you can. The only thing you lose is peace of mind. In fact, the biggest you get is peace of mind. Number one, peace of mind that your child is getting with, and number two, peace of mind that you are doing the best you can do for your child. Not sitting down and say, if I had done it, had I known, they said, look, we have been given extraordinary challenges, and we can only do extraordinary things to overcome them. You can't begin to compare yourself with a mother whose 4 children are all over the place being themselves. We are the only ones wearing the shoes, and we are the only ones that know where it hurts. If you're waiting for someone else's validation to give your child the best you can, good luck, because I know what I have lived for the past 14 years, and I know what I'm hoping for my child, and I know that it can only get better. And even they say faith without good work is dead on its own. You can't sit down and be hoping for the best when you're not ready to do something about it. So this is an opportunity to do something, and something that is very, very impactful.
I just want to say something. With my son, my son passed away in 2023. I'm still sure he passed away because of medication.
Yeah.
So stem cells can reduce your medication because it's easy for doctors to prescribe antipsychotic meds. So the antipsychotic meds is what I use for my child, like risperidone.
Yeah.
It's easy when your child is hyperactive. All that I do was pump risperidone or pump antipsychotic. I swear that I've killed my sister's daughter and I've killed my son. Now I'm so angry, and so I had a boy called Victor. Victor was like, I could just tell you like a mad person. He was was running like everywhere, he was jumping everything, he was going through the window, we got him at the police station. The doctor said lock him up, they did lock him up in a room because the mother did not know what. So risperidone, then she took him for stem cells, and then he was weaned off the risperidone. Today, I could not take my 40-year-old child because I believed in my heart he was very aggressive. I was scared that he would attack people on the plane and what would I do then?
No, one
So
hour. I think I was
had
still
him and somebody, and I swear I somebody,
Even the tree is
I had a chance to take him for stem cells very